folks, and welcome back to the worst Warmachine channel on the internet. I'm Malorian, and welcome back to another Warmachine Battle Report. Now, this one here is going to be myself up against James. James is a long-time viewer, and you know what? We played once before, and he wanted his revenge. Not actually just wanted to get a game. I want to get a game too, you know? Things have been going bad pandemic-wise, and so we can't play in the stores anymore, which is kind of why the Battle Report stopped on here, to be honest. But you know what? It's time to get another game in, so let's do this. It'll have to be on War Table. But hey, you know, War Table's not that bad. It's actually really good. For those who haven't been checking out, there are new improvements all the time. So if you haven't tried out War Table, you should. There'll be a link for it down below. Otherwise, what's my list today? Well, my list going into this game is I wanted to do something different. You know, in this age, I've not been really, you know, enticed, drawn in by all like the very hyper competitive lists. I always like trying something different. I'm in the janky mood right now. And so I'm playing my Haley the Pirate Queen. This is where you play Haley 2 out of theme and then just take a bunch of pirates because it actually works really well. This list is doing great for rushing across, throwing a lot of bodies in your face, which Ciannor can't really do because it doesn't really have really cheap units. And then while I'm doing that, I can use TK and stuff like that to move you away from the scenario pieces and win on scenario. So I'm loving this list. Now, last time James used some Menoth against me, so I assumed to be Menoth again. Nope, it's Grimkin. So that's going to be interesting. It's the Wanderer. And man, I do not have a lot of experience against the Wanderer. I think maybe I played against the Wanderer maybe one time. So I don't know him very well whatsoever. Plus, I mean, looking at the list here, there's a lot of stuff that I have not played against yet. I mean, obviously, Clockatrices. Those I know. Those are easy. But really, the things like where like Baron Tonguelick and the Grave Ghouls came out, that's when the local Grimkin players kind of started shying away and were trying out other factions. Same thing with like the Four Horseymans. I have never played against them. So I mean, other parts in here like the Madcaps and the Malady Mans and stuff like that. I did get some experience with those before the local Grimkin players moved on to other things, but not very much. I mean, typically for me, you know, Grimkin was always Dreamer with all the Clockatrices, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to play a different mix here. So looking at what we're seeing here on the board, we're going to be seeing the first issue, which is this scenario is not very live. So I won the roll for initiative. Thank you, Anastasia. And yeah, this is one that's really hard to win on scenario, like I was saying. If you don't have something that just blitzes forward, something like those like Bedfellow Angel lists or something like that, or one of those cavalry lists, yeah, you're not really normally doing that. I can get in there and I can kind of clear out a circle and then try and hold it, but that's something where it's not usually a TK away. I usually have to kill like a handful of models, and that's not really what this list does well. And as I finished deploying my side and James is trying to deploy his side, I was starting to really realize, oh, wait a second, this will be harder than I thought because there's not a lot of things that I have here on my side that can deal with those Clockatrices very well. I mean, like the Hammersmith is slow, and so that will be a problem. I'm pretty sure that I can deal with things like, you know, the Neigh Slayers and stuff like that, until I saw that as well that he has Star-Crossed. And for those who don't know what the spell Star-Crossed does, is that if you're making attacks, any attacks, in the Wanderer's control area, you roll an extra die and then drop the highest. And so that's going to make it so in a game where I need to clear out things by punching them, that I'm going to have a hard time hitting. Now, the good news with this tactically is that this is a wide scenario, so that can only be applied so far. But still, you know, if Wanderer is somewhere there in the middle, he can really control things there and make it so that yeah, I need to be attacking things in zones. By the way, the Arcana that he picked is he always has his trump, so that if I make an attack against him and do damage or something, he gets to teleport. First, he gets to transfer the damage for free, and then he gets to go to one of his little markers. He also took the one where he can pop up some terrain on me when I move up, and another one where he gets to cancel one of my spells. So, yeah, you know, it's not the usual ones, again, that I'd see where I go and I damage a war beast and then everything heals up type thing. But yeah, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So looking at how things are lined up here, I am mainly thinking that I'm going to be focusing on the left zone and the middle zone. The right zone, I just really plan on contesting, and we'll see if I can do this. You know, the other option here too is I could always go for assassination. There's not a lot of other pieces in the list that I can actually assassinate, but there is Haley too, and there is a Thorn, and that means I can be arcing a whole bunch of arcane bolts. So if I get the opportunity, I will go for it. Alright, going to round one. We did a lot of talking. We're pretty far away into this video already, but really my first turn is going to be dead simple, and that's going to be run, 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 run. And so that's what I do. I'd first be a little bit more cautious, because those madcap little friends there, they can go up and they can throw these Molotovs at me, and even though I can stay at a range, these are AoEs, so they can always scatter into me. So as you can see here, my front lines are a little bit further back, and they're pretty sparse, just in case it scatters my way, which is unfortunate, because when I got to Haley, I was like, oh right, she has Force Field, which is a spell that does some stuff for her. We're like, oh, she can't be knocked down and blah, 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 blah. But the main thing about that spell that's actually really good for this out-of-theme list is the fact that if AoEs miss, I pick what direction they go. So really, I only needed to be out of range, and then I could have been as packed as I wanted. So a miss on my part. All my things could be a little bit closer, but to be honest, that's not going to be really a decider in this game. So pretty much moving on up, doing a few TKs to get like my slow Hammersmith up there a little bit faster, but otherwise that's it from me turn one. Oh, I guess I should be talking a little bit about terrain, just in case a little bit is not clear. Going from left to right in the zone there, we have some cloud there, we have a wall. On the top there, I have some rough terrain. On the bottom, he has kind of like a doubled up trench. There's another cloud there in the center. On the bottom right on his side, that's more rough terrain. And in the zone on the right, we have a forest and then another wall. So going on to his turn, we talked about the whole force field thing, and then he doesn't really even try, because, yeah, it's pointless. You know, it's just going to scatter back towards him. So on the left side, he's going to be making these 3 little casket imps, and really, these are really just here to slow me down. We both realize I'm going to go into them, I'm going to Shanghai them, I'm going to get even larger, but he's just trying to slow me down so that the Neigh Slayers can crash into me. That's really the whole thing here. And of course, if I miss anything, they're going to start blowing me up. Now here's the cute thing. I can seduce these things. So the last of the press gangers, the units in the front, they have an action where I can seduce a living model, and they can make a full movement, and then it can, you know, make an attack. So I can move these casket imps back into his face to explode them. So that'll be cute on the left side. On the right side, I'm out of range, so that's sad, but you know, what can you do? But yeah, so basically he's doing that on the left and the right. Left side he made 3, right side only 1. Clockatrices, they don't really care. Like I said, I don't have much to threaten them, so they're right up there. He has that Horseymans there more in the center. It has a little fog up that's lower his defense, so that AoE doesn't really too much matter. My defense, he'll hit it, whatever. It's no big deal. You can see that the little road markers are out, and the biggest thing is that the Wanderer is camping nothing. So there's an opportunity here. Now, of course, he does have that one Arcana that he could go and then go into the road marker that is in the rough terrain, and then that would make things tougher, the rubble there. But I think if I can do some other activations first and get him to pop one of the other Arcana, then maybe I can actually make this happen. So let's go through this. So going on to my side too, what we're going to be seeing here is, yeah, it's go time to try doing some things. And of course, by the way, he did put out Star Cross, so that'll be an issue. All right, left side, that goes fantastic. I go in there, kill a couple of casket imps, make a couple of Shanghaied new press gangers, seduce the casket imp. It goes over into his lines and blows up and does some great work. Yeah, that's fantastic. I even killed the grave ghoul on this side with that, so hooray. Meanwhile, on the right side, yeah, I can't do as great. I can't do too much more, so I charge in. I destroy the casket imp on the right. I'm going to go and be able to press gang it, but otherwise, you know, thanks to Starcross, this is where we're really seeing that even with gang going up to Mat 7, hey, you know, I'm just not going to be hitting too many times. And even the one time I did hit the Four Horseymans, that's where I remembered, oh yeah, by the way, each damage does one box, so I have to hit this guy like 5 times, so that's really not happening anytime soon. I actually probably should have set up for seducing it, but oh well, too late for that. Then the big thing that kind of changed things over is I went with the pirates, just kind of got them out of the way, and then I went with Alexia. I'm really worried about her being shot down by the, man, I can't remember the name of that model right now. Let's pop over, because I have the list. I can look at them anytime I want, and it is called Lord Longfellow. He's the one with the guns. He likes killing characters, and I want to keep my, not Anastasia, my Alexia alive and arisen. And with that, what happens is that I go up and I make a thrall, and when the thrall moves up, he pops his Arcana, and with that, he puts up that little piece of burning earth that you see there, and that is going to be huge, because that means he can't use the one to stop one of my spells, and he can't use the one to get away. So that is fantastic. I'm really happy I got that out of there. By the way, I should talk about Anastasia and how on the left she came in, killed off that one Malady Man, so there's still a monkey hanging around, but at least the Malady Man is gone. And then, now that that is all clear, I'm able to do things like, okay, I'll move up with the Bosun. He'll take a shot. It didn't really do very much. The Hammersmith can move up, and now it's Haley's turn. And once Thorn's into the cloud, that means I can see through the cloud, and I start trying to hit him. Now, because I'm so far back, I don't need to really worry about, you know, being having that extra dice for Star-Crossed. The first arcane build goals, and by the way, I do have that thing where I can boost after the fact, and I needed it, so that's fantastic, because I hit it. I hit him with the arcane bolt, and then boosted damage, and yeah, I did 10 damage onto the Wanderer already, so that's fantastic. He's already down to just 6 boxes, and I mean, that's so far. For my 8 focus, I can do it again. I go to do it, and it's really low. I roll like a 3 and a 1, something like that, really bad. You know, I go for it, and I don't get it. I think I need like a 5 or something. I can't really remember all the numbers, but I remember that if I tried boosting after, I'd need like a 5. I didn't get it. So if I would have gotten that, I might be able to win it right now. This is where one thing that's missing is I don't have a Squire. If I had a Squire, I could also be re-rolling to hit. But, you know, given what this list is trying to do, I went for the Bosun instead. So there are times where I'm wondering if this list should be having a Squire or the Bosun. And, yeah, I think this time I should have gone for the Squire. So, unfortunately, that's going to be it. I popped my feet with the assassination being a fail. And what I do with that is I go and I put the feet on the 2 Clockatrices. I put them on the Neigh Slayers on the left. And, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. Now, one of the things that I didn't talk about there is he did have the ability to negate one of them. He did have that there with the Hermit, so he could have negated damage, and he did not go for negating the second one. So I guess maybe he believed in himself, or didn't believe in me, or forgot about the Hermit. But yeah, we'll be talking about later about how hard it is to actually kill the Hermit. So on his turn, you know, there's not too much he can do for most of the board because of how he's under feet, but he still gets quite a bit done. It is actually very impressive how much work he got done. So on the left side, he can't do too much else. He doesn't make a casket because he doesn't want to explode on me again. And otherwise, yeah, he's kind of just trying to make an attack on Anastasia. If the monkey fails, get some things into my face, but more so clears things up on the middle there so that he can be going going with his Horseymans, and they go crashing through. So after he's able to kill the things in front of it, it's able to charge in, gets on to the Hammersmith, does tons of damage, takes out one of the hands, so that's kind of unfortunate. Actually, no, came just short of killing one of the hands, but does tons of damage to it, so that's very important. On the right side, though, this is where he did massive work. I always know that the little Neigh Slayers are cav in terms of they get 3 dice to hit, but I always forget that they get impact hits as well, and he uses that to great effect. Wow, he kills off so many pirates on the right, so as you can see there, I had a lot of guys, and now I don't have a lot of guys. So that's a problem. He also makes one casket. At first, I think he's falling for the same mistake, and I can go over there and I can seduce it again. I forgot, though, that my last is actually in that burning earth, so I'm going to lose some movement to get over there. So actually, it's not in range. But otherwise, yeah, he's just killing the stuff that's in front of him. And as you can see, the Wanderer is just like in my face up there. It is camping 3 this time. There is these little, abilities to teleport all over the place, after with these road markers. But the biggest thing that's going to make things really hard for me is that he did end up able to kill off Thorn. So first he got some damage on it just with, a spray failed to do it. So he went over there with one of his little Crabbits. It hops behind me, got a little bit of damage. And then that Lord Longfellow that I was worried about going after my Alexia, well, Thorn is a character too, and so he just rips up that Thorn. So having a Thorn being gone, that really hurts things, because as he was going through these things, and one of the first things he did was just put Wanderer in my face. Well, I was kind of hoping with that I would have Thorn to go on to him, I'd have the Hammersmith, and then maybe that would be enough. Because some of the things I'm looking at that I can do is that I have the Bosun, which can throw things, and I can maybe knock down the Wanderer. I have the Hammersmith that can beat back on this Horseymans and then maybe slam it into him. That was going to be made less possible once the Hermit ran there. And then the big thing is that if I can knock him down, I can TK him to the right, and then all those pirates have guns, and if he's knocked down, I can hit fairly easily, and then with all those damage rolls, get through his transfers, and then hopefully take him down. So that was my hope, but again, once I lost Thorn, that got a lot less possible. In fact, to be absolutely honest here, I don't know if this game is actually winnable now at all, because I am definitely, the right side going down doesn't matter. I can keep flooding it with useless Risen. The left side, that's going to be very difficult. Maybe I can claw my way through, but again, trying to go through the Star-Crossed, very, very difficult. The main thing here, folks, is that I just don't have anything to do with the Clockatrices. Next turn, if I don't actually do something, they can very easily kill off my Hammersmith, if not just starting to set up for the assassination on Haley. So I really have to try and go for something. So I get really, really risky, and so going through some of these things, I make my Risen, I put one in front of the Bosun so I can try throwing it at him. I need to roll either a 4 or 5 for it to hit. I roll a 3, so I basically just chuck a Risen and it dies. I try making attacks with the Hammersmith. I can't even hit, even with like the boosts and stuff. I just can't even hit. It's just the way that Star-Crossed is going for me. On the left side, I do what damage I can, make up a few more models. That's pretty cute, pretty nice to do. I'm also able to kill off over here the UA for the Neigh Slayers, so that's pretty nice. On the right side, again, trying to do what I can, but he specifically put 2 front, 2 back for the Neigh Slayers, so they're going to be going in and smashing in there, so that's why there's Risen in there, just to make sure he can't get it. But here's the main thing, is that I tried doing this where Haley charged into the burning earth. So I charged into one of his Crabbits, not because I care about the Crabbit, of course I missed that attack, but it's because I wanted to TK the Wanderer over. And what I'm hoping he does is used one of his Arcana to cancel a TK, and then I hit another TK turning him around and moving him backwards, and then trying for that whole gun assassination. Also, Alexia could have charged in. This is, of course, before I did all those other things, but you could tell here, I guess, that it failed because Wanderer's not even on the right side whatsoever. I missed one of my TKs. He then uses elusive and then moves over to the left with dodge, and now it's just not really possible. So I TK myself backwards. This is where I'm just trying to like jam things up and throwing things in the way, but I realize that it's really done here. I mean, one, he could just go and start clearing these things out, but two, this is a really easy way or spot where he can be killing off Haley. So that's what he does. The way that he does it is that the Wanderer goes first, does his range attack, which doesn't do any damage, but what it does is actually like flares me, so it's easier for the other stuff to hit. One Clockatrice goes in and clears the way, and then after that, it's all open for the next one to go right into Haley and kill her, but that wasn't even needed because he wanted his little spider thing, the Lord Longfellow, to go up, and he's like, you know what, I kill a Thorn, I can kill you, and pew 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 pew, Haley goes down before the second Clockatrice is even needed, and yeah, James wins by assassination. So James takes this one, and man, I kind of feel like I did him wrong because, you know, this was not really the spot I should have put down this list. You know, maybe he loved this. Maybe he was like, yes, I got to slaughter things, and it's fantastic. But I mean, all things being put on the table here, this was a horrible matchup for Haley to go into for this. I mean, if he would have been a little bit more careful and been camping something that first turn, really that assassination wouldn't have been possible. And yeah, this is just a scenario that's not very open. I don't have things to deal with the Clockatrice. This is where I should not have been in my janky mood and at least ran 2 janky lists so that I could be going between the two and being like, oh, well, this is the right one here. But, you know, this is the list I wanted to play, and I played it. And unfortunately, now I'm probably leaving all of you viewers wondering, like, why would you even run this? This is a garbage list. It's not. It's not. It's actually a really good list. I think this might actually be the first time it's even ever lost. And then James, I mean, maybe he was looking for some revenge. You know, last game I beat him, so it's good that he got to kind of crush me here. But yeah, definitely playing this second time against the Wanderer, getting a lot more respect for that Warlock, you know, he can play like right in your face, and especially if you have things like the Hermit and your Trump Arcana where you can teleport yourself away, that's a really, really big deal. So yeah, very interesting game. Learned a lot of things here for sure. So James, I'm sure you're watching, and if you are, you know, thanks for the game. Anybody else there, if you have any other comments or questions about the list, the game, anything else, post it down below and I'll answer it. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.